Well, hello, and welcome back to Idle Slayer. So here we are. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. We're just grinding out Slayer points, and I am up to 40 Quintillions. So let's go ahead and take a trip to town and see what town has to offer. So yeah, still no real progress towards the 500 spear. So I don't know how they got the 333 shuriken. I'm nowhere close to a 333 shuriken, but you know, in time. It's one of those things. Time flows like a river, and history repeats. At least that's what they tell me. So we'll do some gambling in the meantime. Can never go wrong with being all in on red, as you saw 2 videos ago. I mean, I guess you can be wrong. I just had a big enough bankroll where I wasn't wrong. Where I was right eventually. And then I quit. Because I quit while I was ahead. Could have easily gone to 0 and been like, oh. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Too much. Ooh, barely. Oh, we're on a red streak, hopefully. They actually do that at real casinos, too. They'll show, like, the last 5, because people bet based off of it and stuff like that. Casino doesn't care. If the casino did care, you know what? We get a 0-0 slot. Because that's what happened. They added another green slot. See, like, eventually you run out. And let's play slots. Alright, let's go. Ooh. Ooh. Yay, 15 slime, and of course I'm in the slime zone. You know, I would have been happy to take, like, 100 eyes. That would have been at least worth the spin. But we're just gonna get back what we lost. We're gonna get back over. Oh, really? You're gonna go green slot on me this time. Okay, I see. Just when I said I wasn't gonna do this, we're doing it. Oh, okay, it's gonna be black now. I see. Works every time till it doesn't, guys. Really? Alright, I didn't plan on getting into this. Alright, see? Just be careful, because exponential growth is exponential. That could have gotten really bad really quick. Oh, shuriken level. Yeah. I don't know, maybe we'll ascend. I guess we'll ascend. I got 2 quintillion in the bank. It's really going to be only like a 5%er. But we'll do it. Yeah. I don't remember how much we had last time. Generally, when I get a good one like that, I mean, it's not really the greatest. They're not sending me the greatest ascension. Oh, we get a chest hunt. I don't need chest hunt. Alright. We're only gonna have to duck 1. Okay, there's 2. Where's the last one? I'm gonna either get him or he's gonna get me. I guess that's how it always is, though. But he got me. Hold on. We learned this secret from somebody else to make it. This makes it a little easier to get everything situated. There we go. I never in my life thought about doing this, but having seen somebody else do it, it was CDJ. 100% want to do this every time now, because it just gives you a second to go through and, like, catch your breath and be like, okay, you know, let me at least get all the basics, get all this, everybody lined up, you know. And then we can go back in when we're ready. We'll go ahead and... Yep, 42. Okay, okay, we got the U. Okay. Yeah, see, just stacking all the boosts makes it pretty easy. Oh, I don't even have all my gear upgraded. I just have to keep an eye on it. We're gonna have to raid here soon. I don't want to miss the window of the raid. Go for it. Send it. And we got back. We got back. The only one I care about is getting that 20% damage. Everything else is, I mean, you know, it's nice. Icing on the cake kind of thing. Alright. That was not bad. Obviously, it is important to level these out because of Joey's amulet. That's what I have learned. So it's still important to keep all your gear as upgraded as possible. But, you know, the real kicker for me is getting that done. Alright, now we are going to get 20x coin value. Oh, that's nice. We're going to put the armor on. We need this key armor on for in case we get... Because really, let's see. I did finish some stuff. So I got sent to... What zone is this? The factory. And I was like, oh boy, I'm going to finish all these. Well, I ended up getting involved with something else. And I finished one of them. So we got... And I did get sent to the jungle, which I knew was going to happen. We did finish the jungle one, so we have the inky mushrooms. Those are done. And we also had... No, that was it, I think. I think we got the inky mushrooms done. I don't know what else we got done. It's hard to say now, because it's done. So we're still sitting here with this. We're just kind of, like I said, I was expecting to get this done, but we're not going there right now. Absolutely not. Same thing with this. But it just, you know, when it happened, I went there. And this is why I think my ascension isn't as good this time. I mean, not ascension, but, I feel like my soul count should be better. But, let's see. I wanted to check. I meant to check before I started this. Where did we leave off last time? Because I really didn't remember. I don't remember. It all kind of blurs together. Oh, also, there's been a lot of stuff going on. Alright, we had 3.5 quadrillion last time. Well, that's a lot, by the way, that's a lot. And I actually did the ascension so fast, you can't even see the percent. Because I was gonna say, oh, that's probably close to like 20% for back then. It was 13%. And we had, oh wow, we only got 10. We had 29 quintillion last time after the ascension. I only made 13 quintillion this week. I wonder if I did poorly. You know what? There's only one way to know. If we check the week before this, we will know. We'll get an idea of what the rate is, because I feel like I did bad this week. So we had 29, so I got 13 quintillion. And it should be going up, by the way. The amount I get should be going up. Okay, this video, we don't have much of anything. Oh, well, they run ascending heights. Yeah, we're at 1.7% with some quadrillions. I think I must have just ascended that day. Okay, so I had 15. We got it. So we went 15 to 29, which is about, we'll say 13.4. And I guess even though this week I felt like wasn't good, and I do think this week was not as good as it could be, we got about 12.9. So I guess it's in the ballpark. I guess, you know, what else can I hope for other than being in the ballpark? But I do feel like it should have been, I would say probably 2 quintillion better. I guess it's not a lot. It was just 2 times I messed up, and I messed up because the daily quest, like, sent me to a zone. And I didn't set a timer on when I needed to leave the zone. So basically, without the timer, for when to leave the zone, I was just in the zone for too long, and I came back, and something that should have been probably quintillions of souls was not quintillions of souls. Which was, you know, more in line with what I would expect to get, a disappointment of souls. And I got a lot of missions that sent me to other places this week, so I don't know. That's, you know, honestly, that's why I wanted that double charge I put in the suggestions a long time ago, and that's probably why I didn't get it. But I wanted the game to be more friendly, like, to bursts of play. I don't know if that's what Pablo's design goal is. To me, for a mobile game, you kind of want, like, in my opinion, and again, this is somebody who doesn't have a mobile game being opinionated about mobile games, which, yeah, that's pretty hypocritical, but you know what, it's a free country, it's a free YouTube, I guess it's a free YouTube, and I'm free to state my opinion. But that's why I wanted the double portal, but I can also see why from a gameplay perspective you want it. So I'm going to give you both arguments. For me, I want it because, for example, I get a daily quest, it sends me to a zone I don't want to be in. I can pop into that zone, do the daily quest, and I can turn around and leave. That also means, too, that for materials and stuff like that, active play would be slightly more efficient. Right now, if you're stuck in a zone for a half hour, you can offline and fill out basically anything in a half hour. If you had double portal stacked, there'd actually be a case where I think you could whetstone something faster. I don't know how fast you could whetstone something, so don't quote me on that, but I'm gonna guess that you could whetstone something faster than that. At least, you know, it's gonna be an educated wish that you can whetstone something faster, and then use the extra portal hop in. The other reason I would want it is just because, to me, it fits the nature of an idle game in burst of play. Okay. So you log in, you have your 2 portal charges, you can go to do the portal, you can leave. You know, I mean, maybe it goes to more than 2. I'm also open to that, like, where can you get, like, maybe 3 charges or something. But again, this would be an expensive upgrade. Like, I would say, since we had 10 quintillion, I would say probably at this point in the game, I would say 50 quintillion. So it's something for late game players, and it would be Astrolocked. Right, so it's a 50 quintillion Astro-locked upgrade for late game players. You just make it more convenient. Now, granted, I never would have expected to get the half-hour portal, so I don't know. I actually wanted to, when it was an hour, I wanted to have the portal cooldown to stack for the same reason. I wanted to be able to log into the game, or open up the game rather, come in, take the portal, do what I need to do in the other zone, which is usually a daily quest. I don't really have a reason to leave the frozen field outside of a daily quest, so I don't. You know, I mean, yes, I have these quests to do, and yes, we are chipping away at these quests, little by little. But you can see I left for this place, and I got 3,000 kills. And that took a long time. I want to say, that was, I don't think that was a half hour. I think it was there longer than that. Even if that was a half hour, that's 15 hours of being idle in the Haunted Castle. And where I'm at right now, I'm not ready to sacrifice that much soul gain. And then, I guess Anubis would be faster because it's smaller than the Archdemon. So that would be, like, we'll round up for him. We'll say 4 hours for Anubis, and that would be done. But again, to me, there's no point in doing these because, I mean, outside of getting them for the bestiary, so we will do them eventually, but I'm not in a rush right now. I would probably, if I was going to do them, I would be doing them when we're doing 500, Shuriken, as I was corrected in the comments, it's Shuriken. You know, I don't know where I learned Shuriken. That's what I remember us calling it when we were growing up. You know, ninjas threw Shurikens, not Shurikens. And so, I don't know. But, you know, that was one of the things somebody pointed out in the comments that I said Shuriken wrong, and I'm like, huh. You know, I never really looked it up. You know, it was one of those things, like, I learned as a kid, and so I'm gonna have a hard time saying it right. Because I've said it that way my whole life. I've never said Shuriken. It's always been Shuriken. Everybody I know has said Shuriken. I don't know if that's because of me. That could be because of me. But I feel like as wherever I grew up, it was never a Shuriken, it was a Shuriken. And I don't know why. And now I'm wondering, like, where the hell did I pick up that improper language? You know, was that a movie that we all watched where they talked about the Shuriken? And that's why nobody questioned it and they didn't say Shuriken? I don't know. You know? You know, this is now going to drive me nuts because I don't have an answer for why I was calling it Shuriken. And you know, the only thing I can think of is it came from, like, a movie. Because it wasn't just me that said it, because otherwise somebody would have corrected me and said, you know, Shuriken. I'm wondering if it was a movie now that said it wrong. Because that would make sense, because, or, you know, somebody threw it and said Shuriken, so everybody thought it was called Shuriken? But we also just called it the Ninja Stars, you know. That's the other thing to call it, just the Ninja Star. You can't go wrong with Ninja Star, because I know how to say ninja. But anyways, that's I started wondering about, you know, how that happened. But, you know, I believe it's Shuriken, and that's how I'm supposed to say it, so that's how I'll say it now. I never said I was Mr. Pronunciation. I've always wondered, like, because, so a lot of the video games I played growing up, there was no voice acting or anything like that. So it was always, ooh, okay, we can do Ascending Heights. It was always a question for me, how do I say this? Am I saying it correctly? So, for example, in Dragon Warrior 3, the first town you come from is, okay, I missed that, but that's fine. I'm gonna continue telling the story anyways, I don't care that much. We'll get it this time, is what I really meant to say. The first town was like, I believe, I pronounced it Alihan. Mentally. And I never knew how to say it. I think I probably asked my mom how you would say it. And, for whatever reason, I thought it was, Alihan, I believe. or something like Alihan or something like that. And it turns out, I think the way somebody else has said it is Alihan. And I'm like, oh, how would I ever, how would I ever have known that, from, imaginary word thing. And again, I don't know if they're right or I'm right. I'm probably wrong because this is my kid brain and trying to understand it, And that's one of the ones that stands out the most. I'm sure there's other ones, but that's the one I just remember the most because I remember I played so much Dragon Warrior 3 as a kid. I played that game mostly because, unlike, say, Final Fantasy 2, which was also a great game, by the way, I enjoyed Final Fantasy 2. But and I played a lot of Final Fantasy 2, trust me, because it was my first Super Nintendo RPG, I believe. But my big thing of why I liked not Final Fantasy, no, it was Dragon Warrior 3, was because you could customize the party. So I did a traditional playthrough. And my traditional playthrough was Hero, Soldier, Pilgrim, Wizard, which is the recommended party, the basic party. I turned the Wizard into a Sage, and then I turned the Pilgrim, so he would learn all the magic, into the Wizard, and then I realized, well, that sucks. Now I have to turn the Wizard back into a Pilgrim. So then I did a second playthrough, and I said, this time I'm going to be smart. I'm going to be smart, and so I did the same party, Hero, Soldier, but this time I turned the Pilgrim into a Sage, and then the Wizard I turned into a Pilgrim at the end of the game, which Pilgrim, really, it should have been translated Cleric, but they called him Pilgrim. He was just a healer. And the thing is, they basically had two schools of magic. There was the healing school of magic, which would be in Final Fantasy terms a white mage. In this case, it was the Pilgrim, aka I would consider it more like a cleric. And there was the black magic, which would be considered the wizard, which was the offensive magic, etc. So that was one party I did, or two parties actually. Then on one of my playthroughs, I said, let's get different. And I did one with the hero, two fighters, and a pilgrim that was turned into a sage. And I don't know if I beat the game with that one, but that party was... again, with a party like that, it's really dependent on what level you are, because if you're a high enough level with that kind of party, you'll just blast through everything. And it was a really inexpensive party to gear, so one of the interesting things about that party was a lot of Dragon Warrior 3 was about farming for money. You needed XP, but you also needed money. And basically it was like, okay, here's a new settlement, you need to go get the equipment for this settlement and go farm. That was a lot of the gameplay of Dragon Ball. So, with that in mind, two fighters are generally inexpensive to equip. Because fighters have limited equipment options, so there's only like a handful of things you can even buy, even if you wanted to. And so it was, and they were really good offense. So didn't use a lot of magic that run. Didn't use a lot of magic. It was a really interesting way to play the game. A lot of melee combat though. And see, that game was if you're not familiar with the Dragon Warrior series, these games are very grind heavy. So you spend a lot of time in combat, and you get to learn how to do combat really efficiently. I remember I used to, like, one summer, my goal was to just level my now again, I had already beaten the game with this party, but I just liked leveling and getting stronger in video games. And one of the, like I've said earlier in a lot of my videos, one of the reasons I like RPGs so much is because you can't really fail at an RPG. You know? Like, if you get a boss that's too hard, and you're like me, a kid who doesn't understand how to beat it, like the way you're supposed to beat it isn't making sense, almost every RPG will let you go out and just sit there, and you can go there and farm as much XP as you want until you can beat it. So as a kid, when the games were super hard, like, I always remember Battletoads. The first level was so much fun. The second level was pretty good, the one where you're dropping down in the hole. It was pretty good. The third level with the bike was like, why is this in here? Well, I remember playing that level, and I was like, I don't want to play this level. And my friend and I, we would rent the game, because this is back with, I think it was at Blockbuster. Or I borrowed it. It might have been, he might have had it at his house, and we would play it together. I don't remember. I don't remember. Given the amount of times I played it, I think he had the game. What we would end up doing is we would play the first level and the second level, because they were both pretty fun. Fun beat-em-up style levels. And then when it got to the third level with the bike, we would just give up. We would just go there, we'd try to do the bike level to see if we could ever get past it. We would never get past it, and we would just quit. It was the same thing we played Super Contra. And in Super Contra, if you didn't know, which you probably don't, because, you know, it's a really old game, there was a spot where there was a boss that came out. It was a mini-boss. And if you stood in the corner and you had a controller with the rapid-fire button, which I did, you could sit there and have the rapid-fire button on and continuously farm the monsters that fall down. Like, basically what it did is it was a boss that just tossed monsters down. Well, if you stood in the corner and shot your gun, the monsters never hit you. So when my friend and I wanted to play Contra, we'd basically play until that boss. Then we got to that boss, we would take turns getting 30 lives each. That was the maximum number of lives you could hold in Contra. And, basically it took about a half hour, from what I remember, to grind out that many lives. So we'd actually get there, get to the boss, set our characters up, make sure that the farm was going well, turn off the TV, go get the playing cards, and we'd play War or another playing card game, and we would play the playing card game, and then check on the TV to see, and I was like, oh, okay, one of us has 30 lives. Okay, it's time to switch. So then I think I only had one turbo controller at the time, so we'd pause the game, swap the controllers, put the other controller in, unpause the game, make sure that the other controller was firing and he was getting his lives, and then we would go back and we would play again. We would go back and play more card games. And then with our 30 lives, now this I think was in like the second stage of Contra. You could do this. I want to say it was in the like midway point of the second stage. We would be lucky if we got to the fourth stage. But, you know, that was just how much, that was a part of Contra we enjoyed, you know? So I guess, if you're wondering what my first idle game was, it was Super Contra on the SNES. That would be my first real idle game that I played, because we would idle it to get the 30 lives. And, that's just how we played games back then. I remember it. Oh, I guess I could turn my silvers on, but I remember it. And, you know, I didn't know the concept of an idle game. It was just like, you know, and another idle game I played was SimCity. Like, nobody considers SimCity an idle game. But I 100% played it like one. I mean, if you played SimCity, did you play it like an idle game? Did you ever say, okay, well, I'm tired of waiting for whatever this upgrade is. I'm just gonna let the game run overnight and come back in the morning and have unlimited money. You turn to the disasters off, let the game run overnight, and come back in the morning with unlimited money. How many of you have done that? Because that's how I played SimCity. I would be like, oh, well, you know what? My mom wants me to have dinner. Well, you know, this is a great time for me to just let SimCity idle, and I'll come back to it after dinner. I can't, I'm sure I'm not the only person that's done that. But so SimCity was like probably the second idle game I played, but I never considered it an idle game. And we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun, at least with SimCity, trying to build a city that never had disasters. Like, I realized how unrealistic that was, but as a kid, I absolutely hated, like, RNG coming in and destroying the city I built. You know, I didn't call it RNG back then, but I was like, I don't want the computer to try and destroy my city with an alien invasion or something like that. You kidding me? I'm working on building this nice city. The computer is not going to come in and destroy it. And that was just, like, my mentality back then. I forgot how we got on this topic, but oh well. You took a trip down memory lane with me. But the reality is, we've gotten as far as we could for this week. So we know we've been doing about 15 quintillion souls, so will we get to 57 next week? And we'll kind of gauge our progress based off that. If I was getting about 14 souls, I think it was 14 souls a week. It was 15.7 to 20. Yeah, so 13.4. If I was getting 13.4 souls per week, 13.4 quintillion. So I guess we're looking to see if I have. Yeah, we'll go with 56 quintillion next week. Maybe this will accelerate. But, once again, as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. And if you have any questions, feel free to say something in the comments. I do always look forward to your questions. And as always, thank you again, and I hope you have a great day.